Well, good evening, everyone. Once again, a warm welcome back to the second webinar of the second week. There is an old saying that goes, everything happens for a reason. Likewise, Lockdown 2020 has taught us that we can live, create, work, and network from where we are seated. Hence the topic, going global while being local. I'm very proud to say that today's resource person is my very own friend and colleague CA Bharath Rao, a renowned member of the institute, a very young member who has volunteered to join us as a very short notice. Definitely, Bharat, the word of appreciation goes to you. But before I hand over the session to him, I request our chairman, CA SS Nayak, to welcome each and everyone who has joined us in this webinar.
Good evening, friends. It's the time to perform. Even though it is lockdown, we are not down. This is the sixth consecutive technical webinar our Mangaluru ICAI hosting. You might have seen in YouTube, the viewership is also excellent. We are very proud and we are privileged to inform you that all our youngsters in our committee, they are doing excellent job. Thank you. Thank all the committee members. So there is a saying, time is the most elastic element of the world. It increases the minutes when we are waiting and decreases the hours when we are enjoying. That's why it is said, even though we are in lockdown, but we are not down. Today we have young, enterprising, enthusiastic, smart, and enterprising, and whatnot, dynamic, young star of Mangaluru. He is not youngster, he is a young star of Mangaluru, CA Bharath Rao. We are very proud of him. He is the son of the soil and son of our past chairman Chandrakant Rao. He is just very young, 27 years, and working as a senior consultant with one of the B4 firms in Bangalore. Of course, friends, you are aware, now lot of back office work is happening in India. BPO services may be BPO services or back office work, various professional work or income tax return filing of US firms and all. It's all happening in India because of efficiency of Indian chartered accountants as well as cost effectiveness. So regarding Bharath Rao, I can, because I am seeing him from his childhood, I remember one small quote, when work comes to life, put life into work, he is none other than Bharath Rao. There is a saying in Sanskrit also, a successful person should possess 6 good qualities. Udyamaha sahasam dhairyam, buddhihi shaktihi parakramaha, shadyate yatra vartante tatra daiva sahayakrat. Udyamaha, that is diligence. Sahasam, that is grit to explore. Dhairyam, courage. Buddhihi, intellect. Shaktihi, that is strength. And parakramaha, capacity to execute. All these 6 qualities, those who have all these 6 qualities, they have God's grace. Here we have our young member, CA Bharath Rao. CA Bharath Rao, you are welcome to today's seminar, that is going global while being local. So we thank you very much. You are being local, you are gone global. Let's all get enlightened by your words of going global while being local. Over to Hasta for introducing CA Bharath Rao formally.
Thank you, sir. I consider it as a privilege to introduce him to all of you. Bharat is a BCom graduate, chartered accountant, certified information systems auditor, certified ethical hacker, and computer hacking and forensic investigator. He currently works as a senior consultant with the Big Four in Bangalore. He has been working in the field of internal control advisory and assurance since 2013. He has provided training in GRC, digital forensics, and has contributed various articles which include areas in international taxation, IFC compliance, information security, etc. Bharat has provided seminars in ample topics related to taxation laws and company laws across different cities such as Bangalore, Mangalore, Udupi, and Orissa. Bharat has also contributed to the guidance note published by ISACA in 2014, Guidance to Validate Internal Control Assertions in Indian Financial Reporting. I'm proud to say that on June 14, 2010, under the presence of Srimati Pratibha Patil in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, he received the Rashtrapati Puraskar Scout Awardee, the highest President's Award for a Scout. He has conducted functional consulting engagements for the design of new business rules and review of existing business rules, configured in SAP, GRC, PC automated monitoring, and manual test of effectiveness module. Apart from this, in his free time, Bharat is into mentoring students at the intermediate level and expert support in the subjects of enterprise information systems and auditing. His hobbies include traveling, music, and photography. He is a certified open water scuba diver and has completed 34 dives across Thailand, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, USA, and Goa. We are happy to have you with us, Bharat. Please take over the session.
Thank you so much, SS Naik sir and Hasta. I really am humbled with the words that you have bestowed upon me. So I guess we can start with the presentation. So while I just set up the screen over here, I would just want to take a minute to mention as to why I actually have selected this topic. Going by the GMCS trainings and the CPT, IPCC, and final coaching that we had, the thing is, I've been kind of like we as chartered accountants have been exposed to a lot of to a lot of subjects, and these subjects such as strategic management, information systems, income tax act, or the strategic financial management, costing are all like very interesting things. And during my studies, I was always wondering as to how can I, leverage these subjects so that we can add better value to the people, and being having a helpful nature that, and we have been brought up with that value as to help others. So I thought maybe let's take leverage, or let's take an advantage of the subjects, and let's learn to apply it in a very simple manner and take it forward. So keeping this in mind, I think maybe it's time that we start about thinking globally rather than just thinking about the physical geographical region that we are in. Now, with respect to going global while being local, is a very interesting topic, and and this topic is being talked about a lot by chartered accountants, by lawyers, by so many different professionals right now, because of the adverse situation that we are all in thanks to the COVID pandemic. We are left with no choice but to earn money sitting from our house. So keeping and nothing and because of this opportunity, because of this situation, we can leverage it and create more opportunities for us to work. So that's the idea of let's go global while being local. Now, the whole point of going global is very simple, where we try to, it's basically extending our arms of services rather than, sticking to the clients or the customers in one region. We try to extend the same help to the people in the other regions. So that's the whole point of going global. So from a global practice standpoint, we can broadly classify it as having a local practice overseas or having a global practice overseas. This can be achieved if we are excellent in one thing that is called as networking. That's why I've mentioned it separately in a separate box over here. If we are excellent with our networking, if we are good at what we do, which I'm sure we all are, because it's not easy to clear the exams. And once we clear the exams, none of our clients have left us. And in fact, we're making more and more money every year because the clients are making more money. We are in the business of helping clients earn more money so that we earn more money, right? So that's why, see, chartered accountancy is such a beautiful profession, and I'm very privileged and lucky to be a part of this wonderful profession. Now, with respect to going global or extending the practices, the existing practice overseas, to make it simple, the business model is very easy. One is either we can set up management consulting firms, or provide financial and business advisory and assurance engagements. We can also help in restructuring or mergers and acquisitions, or we can join something called as a network firm. But while we extend our services to the other geographical boundaries, it's very important that chartered accountants take or pay attention to the local laws of the foreign land, because the thing is, mistake of law is not a mistake. That's what we have learned in the Contracts Act. So therefore, as we extend our services, we need to also upscale ourselves, or have the additional learning with respect to the corporate and allied laws of the foreign land, tax withholding laws in India and in the foreign country, privacy laws, corporate and taxation laws, and most importantly, when let's say if you want to extend our practice to the States or Australia for that matter, it's important that we take something called as indemnity insurance as well, because being a very litigious country, USA, Australia, or the other countries. So it's very important that we secure ourselves. That's the whole point of, this is what we need to keep in mind when we extend our practice overseas. Now, the idea of this seminar or this webinar is simple, where we won't be talking a lot about what you can do, what you can't do, and all. But it's basically an explanation as to how easy it is for you to set up your practice and scale it at the global level. That's basically the idea of the seminar. So we are going to be learning a few key concepts as to what can be incorporated in your existing practices, and by applying it, we can diversify our practice. And secondly, since we are living in the technological era, and there's been a telecommunication disruption a few years back. Telephones and internet are present everywhere. So we can leverage on these telecommunication systems and other information systems in a very simple manner, and set up our practice and take it on a global scale. Now, going forward, I've just kind of compiled an illustrative list of services that we can start by we can start taking it at a global scale. So for starters, we can always offer our audit and attest services. For example, we have got these standards SAE 3402. These are basically independent audits that are conducted by a practicing audit professional and given to service organizations like BPOs, or data centers, or cloud security providers, or third-party verification companies, so on and so forth. We can also conduct SAE 3400, which is evaluation of prospective financial statements. Audit support services such as statutory audits, internal audits, or audits of internal controls, for that matter. Other certification and other attest services pertaining to taxation and corporate matters. And then we can slowly get into the consulting or the advisory area, such as management consulting, where we help in the company at least fix their process, or they would want to set up a new finance process or a new purchase process. So we can always act as independent functional consultants, where we can provide our views as to the risks, what can go wrong, and what should be done in the right manner to ensure that things don't go in the wrong direction. We can also perform due diligence services and design of their internal controls. In addition, we can also indulge ourselves in data analytics exercises, because let's face it, let's be honest here, a chartered accountant is the best person to interpret the numbers and to come with conclusions which would be very useful and informative to the client. So if we understand the data well, so let us use data mining, data analytics techniques, and provide various insights as to the client's data that they have. We can also assist in accounting forensics and investigation. So usually when there's some sort of corporate fraud happens, so they try to give it to a forensic investigator who's very independent, and there's a chance that they'll give it to practicing audit professional out of the country or out of that physical region, to be precise, so that the absolute independence would be maintained. And being good in numbers and auditing is what we do as a bread and butter. Forensics should not be a difficult thing. And we can also look into the FAFD course that our institute offers, and I'm pretty sure many of you have taken it and reaping the benefits out of it. So such other certifications are also very helpful and can be used in these services. Design and implementation of financial information system, rendering of outsourced financial services. Maybe let's say a company outside India wants to outsource the entire accounting function or the payroll function in India, because they would want to take advantage of the purchase power parity that is there. And the client may end up saving a lot of money, but we end up making a lot of money because of the profits given the forex fluctuation and the economies of scale. We can also provide guidance in terms of international taxation advisory and transfer pricing compliance. These are the two new hot topics which are being discussed. And since the world is becoming smaller, tax rules are also getting strengthened everywhere. So it's important that the client does not lose money because of paying double taxation. So this is kind of an illustrative list of services, and I'm pretty sure all of us are creative, and we can also come up with newer functions by applying, the concepts that we would have studied in strategic finance management or costing or EIS or strategic management in that matter. In fact, there is one interesting service called as a virtual CFO service, wherein it's called as a CFO on demand. And I see many people, many senior chartered accountants offering that services to a lot of companies that require, financial guidance for responsible management of their funds and internal controls. So we can be a CFO sitting out of our houses in India itself. That's the point. The whole idea is we end up giving some sort of value-based service, so that it's not like it's like a service that is supposed to be given and the client does not appreciate it. It's like, because of the service that we have given, the client wants us more and more and more, because we are adding some more value. It may be in terms of cost saving or maybe process enhancement, because and as a result they're getting higher profits. So we have to always ensure that if we are giving a service, we have to top it up with a bit of value, so that the client also appreciates it and the client's business also becomes stronger. Now the big question is, how do we get there? This is kind of the vision or the sales pitch, what I have kind of explained as to what are the opportunities and potential that is present, which is untapped and which can be tapped by us at such ease. But it's very important as to know how we can get over there. So this slide basically talks about, in order for us to get there, we need to focus on three things. Number one, branding. Number two, network. And number three, quality. How we brand ourselves, how we brand our firm makes leaves a very important mark in the economy. People notice it. Network, as explained earlier, because of the network that we have, people talk to you, people can reach out to you, or you can reach out to people, and we can get the work. And third, quality of the work. People may come to you initially, but in the end, they should return back because of the quality of the deliverables or the work products that you give. So that's why it's very important that we maintain these three things. So this presentation of going on, we'll be only talking about these three things, that is branding, networking, and quality. So as practicing CAs, if we figure out how to tackle all these three things together, it'll be very easy for us to reach to the global level. Now, the best way to understand branding is a magnet. What does a magnet do? A magnet simply attracts all the iron materials around it, and it makes it stick to it. That's what a magnet does. So similarly, even branding, I can kind of relate to it to a magnet. But, we kind of get attracted to it. Something, there is something about that person, or there is something about that firm that makes us want to go back more and more. So that's why branding becomes a very key element to attract newer opportunities. If we brand ourselves well, it is a start to attract new opportunities. So basically, what is branding? To make it simple, branding is absolutely critical because it makes an overall impact on the practice. And secondly, branding changes the way how people perceive the practice, and it can drive new business. If we are branded well, people can see us, the visibility increases. Now, the question is, how can we achieve the branding? Now, first of all, it's very important that we establish ourselves virtually as well. That's the start. So the best way to set it up is by setting up a website, being part of social medias, professional groups such as LinkedIn, CA Club India, so on and so forth. And thirdly, introduce a concept called SEO, that is nothing but search engine optimization. To make it really simple, an SEO is nothing but how fast Google indexes your page. And like let's say when I search Mangalore ICAI, the first result should be Mangalore Institute of Chartered Accountants of India website. And that can be done if we apply a few tricks, or if we follow a certain processes, so that search engines like Google, Bing will start listing your website at a larger scale. And virtual identity also includes the thought leadership practices that is, that can be nurtured and developed in the firm. And this thought leadership uh, can be achieved if we continuously if we focus on writing articles, or if we continue to publish newsletters and send it to a bunch of people, or have a blog where we continuously update the information. Now the thing is where we can do all these things. So for a start, like from a social media perspective, we have got websites such as LinkedIn and SlideShare. And as a result of this LinkedIn and SlideShare, we can kind of post our data, and people can view it. We have got services such as GoDaddy and BigRock. These are some companies wherein we can purchase servers at a very cheap price and host our website. And we can have something called as SEO. That is nothing but search engine optimization. Now, what I'll do is I'll just take a quick few seconds to just demonstrate the impact of these things, of having these. All right. So what we do is, for example, if I search for ICAI Mangalore, I will start receiving the Google web results for the institute website here in Mangalore. While that loads in the end, I will also take a few seconds to also demonstrate what is branding like, and what we can do with the proper amount of branding. When we need the net, it doesn't work. Here we go. So this is a website called belonging to a firm called as Plante Moran. Apologies. This is a US-based firm, and they're also a bunch of CPAs over there, and they are also into providing various services like audit services and test services, consulting, so on and so forth. Now, the beauty of their site is you can see how well they have organized it. Like they say which industries they cater, what sort of services they provide, what are the international services they provide, what is the wealth management services, so on and so forth. At the same time, they've tried, they've done their branding in such a way that they would want the people to stay, interact with the site more and more, and engage, connect with them, and start, doing business with them. And over here, you can see that they've set up webinars and live events. They've also made portals. They've also explained in which countries these guys are present. Nevertheless, this is taking time. Okay, we'll just move on. Going forward, going forward with the branding, it becomes really important, because one thing is, when we have a very well established website or well established virtual presence, people can see us. And it's very important that people see the good things that we do. And the best way that we can, project these good things is, post articles, post video, webcasts, webinars, so on and so forth in the public domain. And just as a snippet, these are actual statistics of my virtual presence that I have hosted online. Over here, I had written an article on LinkedIn on big data, machine learning, and analytics for the audit process. So over here, I can see that there are 734 views, 3 reshares, 5 people from EY, 2 people from Deloitte, and they've mentioned from which companies people are watching. And surprisingly, I have got 66 views from Munich area in Germany. It's an indicator that people want good content, and people would want to make use of it. My article was also found on Google search, on LinkedIn, on Bing search, and on Facebook as well. 7 of the people who found have the job as auditor. Another article is basically taxation of e-commerce startups, which was written by me and CA Bharath back in 2014. When we had posted this article, we ended up getting about 7,800 views. That was like a sudden spike, and this happened within 1 or 2 weeks of posting the article, from what I remember. And I realized why this article became viral at that point of time. It's because of the keyword e-commerce and startups. E-commerce and startups are being was like the buzzwords back in 2014. Everybody's talking about a startup, everybody's talking about Flipkart, Amazon, and other such e-commerce sites. And at that point of time, there was a lot of content on e-commerce. So when people were searching stuff on e-commerce or taxation or startup, my our article used to get published. Thirdly, this is another screen grab that I have taken from SlideShare regarding my presentation. I've uploaded about 20 odd presentations there. So within a span of 1 month, that is from March 26 to April 25, I've seen that there are totally 938 views and 51 SlideShare actions. That means somebody has either downloaded it or clipped the page, or they've done something to that site over there, to my presentation over there. And I can see a graph. I can see from where people are watching. There's India 260, 246 from the United States, Indonesia is 21, so on and so forth. So your website, along with your identity and the proper search engine optimization techniques and your articles, will create wonderful results for you and wonderful visibility. And people tend to get in touch when such things happen, because they tend to see that, okay, you're a very consistent person and you can be trustworthy, and let's maybe have a relation with that person or establish a relation with that person. So anyways, this is just a small screen grab of the website that I just showed you, plantemoran.com. And as what can we do to maybe kickstart the website? So I suggest we can use services such as GoDaddy or BigRock, and a domain costs just like about 800 to 900 per year, and hosting costs about 7,000 to 8,000 a year, and you can host a lot of things over there, and it's like really cheap. And you can also make it on your own, or you can have a small development website developer, where you can avail his services for a small fee. With respect to newsletters and other branding activities, I've tried using this tool called as Adobe Spark. They've got a free version and they've got a paid version. It's all online. You don't need to install or implement anything. And with the help of this software, it's very easy for me to create the newsletters. Like, oh yeah, okay, now this website's open. The moment I searched ICAI Mangalore, the ICAI Mangalore website has come. And that because of the keywords ICAI and Mangalore. And Google has tagged it that, okay, if anybody searches for ICAI Mangalore, you show this. This is going back to SEO optimization techniques. So when we create our virtual presence, it's better to use the keywords that are being constantly used in the economy. Like for For example, right now we are all talking about lockdowns and working from home, how to be productive, how to maintain a proper balance of work and personal life, staying at home, and all those things. So maybe a couple of keywords, a couple of articles on that published on your websites may yield results and visibility from people all over the world. All right. Next, going forward, so that's basically up with branding. The next important thing that we need to also focus on is the network. Now, we won't be explaining too much about networking here, but it's very important for us to realize as to why there is a need to network. Network, first of all, fosters friendship. It helps you build connections. It helps you create a positive influence. You can be a positive influence on someone, or somebody else can be a positive influence on you. You can develop connections maybe with other audit professionals or other clients or other customers or people from different industries, which would lead to newer opportunities of work and newer referrals of work. And at the same time, because of these connections, you have got more people to ask questions on, and like you can ask questions regarding, okay, what should I do because I'm in a situation like this. I have a client who's in a situation like this. What is your approach? What is your point of view in this matter? So a network is basically leads to a more give and take sort of a relationship, and which leads to better business connects and better reach for clients. And at the same time, you can also get better advice from people, and you can also maybe search for some connections who's willing to do some work for you. So it goes both ways. So that's the reason why we need to network. And now, given the fact that we are living in a world of technology, and it's very easy to call people in the States, Antarctica, or Greenland, Australia with a matter of a few seconds because of telecommunication. It is very safe to say that we are now living in a world without any borders. That border, what we have between countries, it's just from a geographical perspective. But from a business perspective, everything works. It's very easy for us to connect, and it's very easy for us to achieve our goals in terms of professional excellence. How to network? Now, with respect to networking, we have kind of mentioned that technology is there and all that, and plus it's not that networking was not happening earlier. Networking was very much well present. The only difference between the olden era and the current era now is it's much more easier to network. That's the only difference. So earlier also we used to have conferences, seminars. Now also we have a lot of conferences, seminars. We can also have webinars like this, and we can meet people. And I'm pretty sure I'm not just speaking to chartered accountants in Mangalore. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking to other users, from other professions, and other chartered accountants from other regions as well. And this is basically networking. They know how to reach me, and even I may also know how to reach them, thanks to the YouTube comments that we have here. We also have the visiting cards, the age-old visiting cards that we provide. So basically, why I call this the visiting card trick is because as I progress over here, there is an application called as Scam Card, which I use, and it's like a very simple application that I've installed in the phone. The moment I click a photograph of that visiting card, a Google contact is created, and it is synced with all my devices. And I've got about 3,000 odd cards right now in my Camp Card library. But the whole point is, the more cards you give or the more cards you receive, they're all potential contacts. You may not require their services now, but there will always come a time where you will be requiring their services at a later point in time. And again, networking is not about getting work. Networking is all about building relationships. When you have good relations with people, or a good business relationships established with people, it's very easy for the work to come. Work comes automatically. We don't have to put any effort at all. We can also connect with audit professionals in other countries, and or we can also set up offices overseas, or we can also use professional platforms like LinkedIn and FlightShare, CA Club India, so on and so forth. With respect to networking, I would recommend everybody to maybe just go to the ICAI CPU website. Sometime back, there was a wonderful presentation given by say Guru Raj. He's a partner of Guru and Jana, and it was a wonderful presentation. I'm sorry, I may have incorrectly told his name, but yes, it's a very interesting presentation because he explains the details, or the actual effort involved in networking with people out of the country, and it's kind of really nice. One part which I have not spoken about over here is called as network firms. Now, network firms is a concept where your firm is part of an already existing part of firms. All these firms have come together and they said that, okay, we will all work together. We'll share the work what we receive, so that everybody in the end makes money and we can give proper quality to the client. Maybe I may be currently practicing as an indirect tax practitioner, right? But then I have my same client is having some issues with, let's say, international taxation. Some he needs some help with structuring a transaction. Frankly, in my office, I may not have the capability of giving such services, but I don't want to lose the client. So if I'm part of a network firm, it becomes very easy for me to share the work with some other CA firm who's part of the network, and they are supposed to deliver the work, or provide the advisory in line with the terms of the network of the network firms. So as a CA firm joins the network, there are certain terms and conditions, or certain requirements in terms of quality of the deliverable, and billing and fees and all those things which has to be adhered to. So if I pass on the work to somebody, to another firm who's part of my own network, I tend to keep the client. I tend to maintain the relation with my client, but at the same time, I'm able to deliver the requirement to the client. So network firms is a very interesting way for us, to you can say that it's a very nice start for us to extend our services to the on the global scale. Some of the other platforms where we can also do wonderful networking is, maybe connect with audit professionals from, ICAW, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, ISACA, ACCA, AICPA, Australian CPAs, I'm sorry, and the Institute of Internal Auditors. Technology has made the world smaller, and it's also has made a world without borders. So I think it's given the situation that we are in right now, I think it's very easy for us to start connecting with people. Maybe join the everybody. I think must join LinkedIn. And maybe be a part of these groups on LinkedIn. We have a group for international taxation. We have a group for audits. We have a group for advisory engagements. It's just a matter of putting the right searches in the keyboard, and within a span of minutes, it's very easy for us to be a part of the be a part of the group and become its member. And a lot of ideas are shared, a lot of problems are also shared over there, and a lot of content, the resources which are valuable to us are also shared, so we can make the best use of such platforms. So if we are chartered accountants, if we are part of these groups, it becomes really easy for us to understand what is happening at the global level. All right. So what I just thought is I'll just take a minute to show you how easy it is to set up the website. So like for example, I am a member of GoDaddy. I've got a website called bharathraob.com. So the way how I have done my personal branding is, if you just copy this Bharath Rao and paste it in Google over here, the first two pages, whatever you receive, will be all the information there is about me over there. So the thing is, I've made my website using GoDaddy back in during my CA final CA IPCC days, and it's as simple as clicking a button. All I have to do is come over here to Installatron applications installer, click on WordPress, and install it. As simple as that. By the way, the SEO has worked. So I have been using search engine techniques and one optimization techniques, and one of my technique is always use the term Bharath Rao everywhere. So, like over here, for example, you'll see Bharath Rao on Twitter, Bharath Rao Instagram, my website, my Facebook, my SlideShare, my WordPress blog that I made, a couple of my photos of my own presentations. My first website that I made back in my high school days. Everything related to me can be found. So if it is so easy of just sticking with one word all the time everywhere, uh, maybe putting our websites that we create as a practice shouldn't be much of a challenge at all. And all of these things I've done in my own time. It's not that I've broken my head for a couple, for weeks together or months together to create these things. You can also see my articles that I posted on CA Club India, and another article which got posted in some other website, which I don't know when that happened, but yeah, it's happened. A couple of my reviews on other trip sites, so on and so forth. If anybody searches for me, it becomes very easy for them to contact me. So yeah, so this is the I'm just showing you what can be done. So once you buy your domain, like let's say ICA Mangalore-ICAI.org, or XYZ Associates and LLP, you will get access to this easy facilities in on the internet, and it becomes like very easy for you to set up your sites, so on and so forth. All right, here we go. Application browser. I come here, I click on WordPress. And the site will be installed in a matter of seconds. The next important bit is, meanwhile, let's just wait for the site to load. And once it loads, I'll take you guys through it. Now, going forward, over here, the third and the most important quality is quality. Pillar is quality. I have mentioned that branding is a magnet which attracts people, but in the end, if our work is not good, the people tend to go away, and that's how the brand value decreases. So branding should only be a mode of attracting the people, and also let's remember to also comply with the ICAI guidelines on branding and advertising. I'm not talking about advertising here. I'm just talking about making your presence known online with the good work that you do. Without breaking any ICAI guidelines. So when it comes to quality, so after branding comes the work that we do, and it has to be part of a specific benchmark. Because if we don't, if you don't adhere to those benchmarks, probably the trust that we have with our client may slowly start getting eroded away. So the thing is, the next two slides will talk about quality. What is who is an ideal chartered accountant, and what is an ideal chartered accountant firm. So from an ideal chartered accountant, in my opinion, will have three things. Number one, functional knowledge, great knowledge on businesses, can completely understand what is going on, be it whichever types of industries, or if he or she does not understand something, they have the means or the resources in getting the right understanding. Number two is the legal knowledge. We are chartered accountants here. We also have a responsibility to protect our clients from legal repercussions as well. So therefore, we should be knowing our legal laws as well. And thirdly, we should be technologically strong. While business is being conducted over here, right now we are now living in a phase where 90 to 100% of the entire business process is lying on technology. About 5 years back, I had given a topic. I had given a student seminar on internal controls over financial reporting back in 2016. So there I had made a statement telling that 80% to 90% of the businesses are on IT. But now, in this current era that we are in, we are using only IT to get our daily groceries at home. All we have to do is send a message on WhatsApp or go to Amazon or Flipkart or grofers.com and buy our groceries online. 100% of the business of certain industries are on technology. So therefore, we may be understanding things functionally, but if we are also not understanding the things technically, that's going to be a weakness for us. So therefore, as chartered accountants, as professionals who continue or who take pride in keeping ourselves up to date with the latest things, I think it becomes a very important quality to have, that we are strong with technology as well. So the ideal chartered accountant is a person who's got great functional knowledge, great legal knowledge, and has a good understanding of how technology works. Now, for those people who have been working, or like, who have been working for a long time, or who have not been exposed to technologies, again, do not worry about it. Technology, there are a lot of these technological terms being used online. They're all fancy terms. It's very simple. All you need to understand is three things: what is the input of data, how the data is processed, and what is the output of data. If you are able to identify these three things from a common sense perspective, believe me, all the technologies that you would want to understand becomes a piece of cake to everyone. Just remember, when you're trying to evaluate a new technology, understand what is the inputs of data, how the data is processed, and what is the output that you are going to receive. Going forward, as we spoke about the ideal chartered accountant, it's also important that we also speak about the ideal firm. Now, from an ideal firm is someone who's got four important qualities. Number one, culture. Number two, talent. Number three, innovation. And number four, quality. Since we are working with since we would be working with people of different cultures, or different regions, and all, everybody's got their own style of working, or maybe everybody's got a different point of views which may not be being evaluated in the Indian context. As a result, number one, we have to first learn to change our ways of work, change our ways of thinking, maybe help the client, or maybe reach a situation where the client changes their way of work, or we change our work just to suit the client. Depending on the situation, a judgment needs to be taken, and this openness to change or to adapt newer ways of work is a very important indicator to have for chartered accountants, so that they can easily work well with others. The whole point is, let's work well so that the relations with the other people are maintained. And this cultural change need not be brought by people who are not working in a firm, or global clients. It could be as simple as an article student coming up with this easier approach of using Excel. Maybe he develops a macro that he does, that is leading to some sort of automation of some audit checks. Maybe he makes a macro that the moment the trial balance is obtained from the reports are obtained from Tally, he will find all the cases where the purchase orders are not approved, or the inventory has gone to negative stock that day. It's very easy to change the existing ways of work. Maybe he's found a simpler way to conduct analytical review procedure and come up with wonderful interpretations of the financials. Maybe a staff, or another CA student, or maybe another CA, or somebody whom you have employed, comes across subject on the Benford's law. So basically, Benford's law is a very interesting statistical theory used for interpretation of the balance sheet item from a forensic perspective. So maybe he comes out of maybe he's trying to bring out an idea of why not try using another approach like this. Maybe we can get a newer perspective on the data, and which will help us give a better work product. So it becomes really important that we are open to outsiders, we are open to ourselves, and we are open to our juniors as well. Because if we find easier ways to work, we will spend less time doing the same thing, and doing more time doing the other important things. Number two is talent. When it comes to talent, as of now, maybe we are looking at maybe only having people from BCom, or maybe having article students, so on and so forth. But in order to grow global, we also need to diversify our talent, because let's face it, we can only do so much on our own. But if we have the right talent with us, I can tell that person, okay, not to worry. I've got somebody in my team who's an expert in this field, let's say, auditing of mining companies. So maybe he will be able to give you the necessary advice that you need. So it's very important that we diversify the talents, and again, the talent need not restrict to the financial, be restricted to the financial field. It could be talent from the technological fields, such as maybe engineers, maybe hackers, or maybe from the legal field, you may have lawyers, or you may have from the functional fields like MBAs, so on and so forth. Each one has got something to contribute, because in the end, all the professions want to help each other out. And keeping that base idea in mind, if we diversify our talents, it would be very easy as our firm to diverse into various verticals and provide services to various industries. So having a proper open culture enables having talent, diversified talent in our practice. And having good talent in our practice will lead to more leverage being present with us, and the rate of us saying no to clients reduces gradually. Number three is innovation. Innovation is an extremely important thing, because innovation is, to put it in simple terms, is give me an easier way to do the same thing to get the same result. Give me an easier way that will lead to a savings in cost, or give me an easier way to make something, or to make this process more efficient, right? And most of our clients, be it audits, or be it different types of engagements, there are problems that are being faced. And when these problems are being faced, maybe it could work in a specific region, but the problems, there are newer variants of the problems arising in different regions in the world. So it's very important that we learn to innovate, maybe innovate a better way of delivery, maybe innovate the reasoning, maybe innovate the process that is involved in conducting a specific type of an engagement. And fourth, quality. Over here, when I mean quality, I'm specifically referring to the knowledge base of the firm. If the firm has got adequate resources, it would be very easy for scaling up the skills and knowledge of our employees and resources. Scaling up and continuous learning is a very important thing. ICAI has recognized it. That is why they are mandating that everybody has to have a certain number of CPE credits at the end of every block. That shows that you are still up to the levels named by ICAI. So if ICAI can do something like that, why can't we do something like this to our employees? And if we have good employees, if we take care of the employees, the employees in turn will be loyal to you. Granted, you'll have one or two separate extreme cases, but but on a rational level, if we take care of the employees take care of us back. You extend the same courtesy, respect, love, and loyalty, they will also extend it back. And one of the best ways a firm can have a team of highly skilled staff, highly trained staff over here is by providing periodic scaling up and continuous learning activities. So in a nutshell, it's very important that we have to be, first of all, the ideal chartered accountant, and we need to have the ideal firms governing four qualities such as culture, talent, innovation, and quality. Now, when we speak about quality, when we are talking about quality of work, especially when in the event we are having some global engagements, I've received some work from, let's say, New Zealand or Australia or Europe or whatever. You can either do the work on your own as a domestic engagement, or as an overseas engagement, or as a joint venture between two firms. Maybe we may be in a situation where we are doing SA 299 joint audits, where SA 600 using work of another auditor. The primary auditor has approached you to conduct an audit to a specific region. So it becomes very important that we have a good quality deliverable. Now, the thing is, we are chartered accountants. I can say I'm a fresher chartered accountant with a few years of practice. With a few years of work experience. But there are a lot of chartered accountants with 20 years, 30 years, 15 years plus of experience. It's not that we are not doing the right work. We are definitely doing the right thing, because if you're not doing the right thing, there would be chaos in the wherever chartered accountants are, there would be chaos over there. It's just that let us continue doing the same thing, but let us just polish it a little bit. Because by adding that layer of finesse and that polish, the work products are, undergo a magnanimous change. Little bits, small changes lead to larger impacts. That's why it's important. We need to have quality in the work. How can we have quality in the work? We have something called as the quality and documentation standards. So what I feel a firm can also have is, first I think it's important that the firm focus on fixing the enhancing their practice locally and then extend it at a global level. And I'll give you the reason in a few seconds as to why. If we need to create a culture of systematic work paper management, that is work paper documentation life cycle, where we, on a very systematic basis, document the planning and scoping documents, the design and execution of the audit procedures, and the conclusion documents. Because let's say you're in a joint audit, or you're in an audit where you're in an engagement where you're doing a specific part of the scope. So that's where, it becomes really important that we have a document of an agreement between us and the other audit professional or the other professional, telling that, okay, this is my scope of work, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and this is we are governed by so and so standards, similar to the SA 210 terms of the engagement. Then the design and execute procedures, what sort of process discussions we have. Usually when we conduct an audit, we just have, we talk to them and we get an understanding. Sometimes we may write it down, sometimes we may not. But what if we just include another step of writing the entire process understanding in a systematic way, where, we assign who's the person responsible, what sort of communications are going, what are the approvals required for certain level of, purchases, for example. And if these things are systematically documented, it also makes our audit quality, more effective. And what sort of sampling we have done, what is our materiality levels, so on and so forth. So they also need to be documented. And thirdly, we also have the conclusion documents, meaning in what way, what sort of conclusion are you giving? Is it a communication that you're giving to the other to the party in the other side, or are you giving audit report to a foreign client? So, these conclusion documents also need to be done in a finessed manner. It's like we are doing a lot of work, but and we are very proud of our work. So because of the work that we do and the pride that we have and the enjoyment that we seek when we do such works, and if we demonstrate it to the client or to the other CA in the other side in this manner, your credibility increases to a great level. So that's why it's very important. And these things can be achieved if we follow the quality and documentation standards. Now, what are these quality and documentation standards? So ICAI, AASB, the Auditing and Assurance Standards Board have released the SQCs, standards for quality control, standards on audit, standards for test engagements, review engagements, so on and so forth. And they've given a coded, a code base with the procedures that is required to be there. So what, and this thing kind of got introduced sometime in 2010, prior to which we had the AAS auditing standards, AAS 1, 2, 3 to 34. So what has been done is the IFAC, the International Federation of Account, the IFAC, which is there in the, which is present, they kind of regulate the audit professionals globally. So even ICAI is a part of it. So what they came up with an idea is, okay, let's all have a standard approach for auditing. Let's have a standard approach of documentation, execution for the engagements, and let us have some minimum levels of documentations. So their IAASB board released the standards of auditing and all, and it became the international standards of audit, international standards of quality control, so on and so forth. Our ICAI has taken that standard and have basically converged it and made some necessary changes to suit our economy and have released it to us. So basically, if I follow, let's say, SA 530, that is on audit sampling here in India, maybe the equivalent standard in, let's say, Australia, it could be ASA 530, Australian Standard of Audit 530. The procedure would more or less be the same. This means that the work is comparable. If the work is comparable, then the expectation of a good deliverable increases. So that is why what I'm merely suggesting here is, let's continue our good work, but let's just top it off with an additional layer of finesse over it by following these standards. It's like, if we have a cake, if we just have a cake, it's we will just eat it. But if that cake has a nice icing with some cherry on top, we would enjoy the cake even more, right? So what I'm merely suggesting is, let's have that icing and the cherry on the cake before we deliver it to the client. The next aspect is the deliverable quality. So basically, the final work product that we give to the client, at least let us make it very clear to identify the findings. What are your specific recommendations and what are the improvements? So if these things are also kind of brought out in a very nice manner and in a very systematic to the manner to the client, this becomes of great value. And what we end up doing is, we end up thinking from the client's perspective rather than from a legal officer's perspective, or from a different perspective altogether. If you are able to wear the thinking caps of the client and as well as the thinking caps of the other people whom the client interacts with, our work that we give to the client is of immense value. So that is why, and these things can be demonstrated by structure, giving a systematic way of the findings, recommendations, and improvements. Finally, because you are into global engagements which are following the global auditing standards, global quality standards, so on and so forth, which is being adopted in most of the countries, you are also subjected to peer reviews. Peer reviews can also happen by ICAI initiated peer reviews, so we have to comply with it. But if you're part of a network firm, or you're doing some sort of a joint venture, or using work of another auditor, SA 600, something of that scenario happens, then your audit files or your engagement files can be picked for a peer review. So that is why, in order to protect ourselves in the peer review, we need to demonstrate to the peer that, yes, boss, we have taken the adequate steps, the right steps needed to ensure that we have done justification to the client. We have not misled the client, nor we have been careless in our work. So, having these documentation helps you in a very strong manner to demonstrate to the peer that our work is reliable and trustworthy and credible. So, keeping this in mind, we need to basically introduce a certain changes in our practicing firms with respect to the engagement quality. So what I've done is, I've kind of collated it in a very small manner here at a very high level basis as to what are the small things that can be done. One is, I think the firm can introduce a policy on the engagement staffing and the independence practices. I'm like, okay, so for an audit engagement of, let's say, the turnover is up to 1,000 crores, there's going to be 2 seniors and 2 article staff. Maybe if the client is 1,000 crores to 5,000 crores turnover, maybe 3 seniors, 1 manager, and a bunch of article students. Something of that sort has to be made so that we use our use our resources effectively. The utilization of our resources would be at a prime level, and at the same time, we can put the important resources and the important engagement so that we get the right output. Independence practices becomes a very huge deal because of if we have some sort of interest, it's gonna like shares or whatever, it's gonna impact our independence. So we need to protect our firm from potential independence violations. So that means we should encourage our employees or the people who work with us to voluntarily declare their holdings, and maybe keep them, if they've got shares of a specific company, maybe not give the work of that company to that person. It protects the firm from a bunch of other laws that is there in the land, and it also protects the client from a bad quality deliverable. Next, we should the audit firms can also, CA firm can also issue a policy on the audit approach. Maybe, we can look into some auditing standards, that's going to be presented in the next slide. Meaning, okay, so what is a materiality level for us? So what amount could be material for us? Definitely we will take into consideration the overall risk that is there in the overall audit risk of the file. But maybe at for our level, we will take maybe whatever the risk it is, plus 1% or minus 1% or minus 2%, so on and so forth. How are we going to design a response to a risk assessment? We are supposed to understand the business and conduct a risk assessment as per SA 315. So what would be the responses? What according to us is a high risk? What according to us is a medium risk? What according to us is a low risk? Because if we define this risk rating mechanism, we will be able to better utilize the resources in focusing the relevant aspects of the engagement. And these policies may not be also be applicable to audits, can be used in other engagements as other types of engagements as well. What is going to be a sampling methodology? Maybe if it's going to be a daily control, since it's my firm, I think I better make it 15% of the samples, not exceeding 75. Or if it's monthly control, I will I will check the samples for 4 months. Something of that sort. We can make our own sampling methodology, keeping in line the guidances provided by the auditing standards. What's our policy for substantive approach? What is going to be documented? What is going to be documented as material or immaterial? What are observations? Deep dive reviews, analytical processes. We can develop some approach and documentation templates which can be used by the team. Next is an engagement quality review. So this is specific to an audit and an attest engagement, and where there are more than one partner in the firm. Maybe the final work, before releasing the audit report to the client, a partner who's not involved in the work can look into what work we have done. He can share his point of view and give as an EQR, an engagement quality reviewer. And we have to take his inputs in consideration formally. Let it be documented. And once it's documented, we can make the necessary changes, and this also acts as a check for us to give the necessary quality of the deliverable. We can also introduce practices such as audit partner rotation. Maybe first 2 years partner A will sign, the next 2 years partner C will sign, next 2 years partner D will sign, so on and so forth. Granted, we also have the rotation rules as per the Companies Act as well, but we are not just talking about statutory audits. We are also talking about internal audits and other attest engagements where a practicing audit professional can give his signature. So even in those engagements, we can apply this audit partner rotation, so that a fresh perspective is always introduced in the audit, and newer areas can be looked into and better value can be added to the client. The last and most important thing over here is timesheet management. What we end up doing is we like on an average level, like we see we see that the chartered accountants, the team, are always hardworking people, and we will go into great lengths in ensuring that we give the deliverables to the client, especially during the tax audit season, bank audit season, and all. Like, we have heard stories where people have stayed till midnight, beyond midnight, on the last few days up to the due dates in terms of giving the work. But what happens is sometimes is we tend to take our employees for granted over here. And the client also takes us for granted, telling that, okay, we will be, the CA will be there, he will do the work. So, that notion needs to change. We need to take care of our employees as well as the clients as well. And timesheet management becomes a very, very, very important tool a CA firm can have. Because if you are able to measure the work, the efficiency of the employee well, we can in the end, we can help build the competitive rates that we can offer to the in the global scenario. It should not be that, okay, you take 3 days, he will work for 18 hours for 3 days to do one thing. But no, if you are controlling his time really well, he can do the same amount of work with less number of hours. He can be more efficient, and he or she can spend time with other things as well. So timesheet management becomes a very important tool to measure the extent of involvement of employees in a deliverable. It keeps the employees' efficiency in check. It also we'll also come to know which clients are more problematic, which clients are not problematic, or how we can manage a very complex engagement in the on a global scale. So therefore, timesheet management in the end becomes a base for your billing and your fee calculation. I know this slide was a little bit heavy, but but what I felt is like these small things when introduced in the firm, these are just small things. Okay? These are not like we'll have to break our heads to figure out what these things are. The guidance is there, the literature is there. Maybe the chartered accountants, and maybe you can take help of the article students as well over here, because the article students are learning all these things as part of their auditing and accounting subjects. We can sit together and make a plan as to how we can benchmark the firm, take it to another level, and increase the quality, increase the variety of services that we can provide, and what checks we can take to ensure that our quality is retained and or enhanced. So going forward, like I said, I mentioned, a few auditing standards to start. We have all been doing vouching, verification, sampling, test check basis, obtaining, the physical documentation, seeing the bills, the credit notes, so on and so forth, right? And we are also getting involved with in discussions with the management in terms of what is going to be the audit plan, from when to when our people are going to come, and in case of any issues or discrepancies you find, you also have your communications as well. We also maintain a file with the papers and calculations, so on and so forth. What I'm merely suggesting here is, these are some of the basic auditing standards that may be followed in our audits. I've also specifically mentioned here ISA. ISA stands for International Standards of Audit. So if you look into the audit literature issued by IFAC, over there also you will find the same content. In ISA 220, we'll talk about audit quality. ISA 230 will talk about audit documentation, so on and so forth. So the thing is, if it's in this SA or ISA series, it's followed in India and it's followed in other places in the world as well. And granted that these practices are more towards from an statutory audit perspective. But my point of view was like, in fact, this was the point of view told to me by my auditing sir back in IPCC that, so look, these standards contain some good things. Why can't we take the good things out of the standard and apply it in different contexts, which will serve the purpose? Because these standards help us in maintaining, will give us the comfort and the necessary assurance to ensure that the work is good. So why can't we take the good stuff from this standard and put it in some other engagement, so that or some other type of engagement where we can make better use, we can come up with better deliverables. So that idea kind of stuck in my head from quite some time, and that's why it's an easy way for us. We don't have to break our heads again. Just read through the standards and see as to how I can apply it in other types of engagements. It could be internal audits, it could be bank audits, it could be internal control assessments, it could be design of controls, it could be automation of a certain thing, it could be a risk assessment of the purchase process, so on and so forth. So to sum up, basically, we have got a couple of standards. We need to focus on the quality of our deliverable using the methodologies prescribed by our ICAI and the IFAC. Now, quality of work is one thing. The second part is how do we bill the client? I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to bill the client, and everybody is having good billables, because let's face it, all the CAs are making more money, and because the clients are making more money, that we are seeing that increment every year, and it's a good thing. When it comes to a global scale, people are really concerned in terms of the on what basis are you quoting me this fee? That is the question they would ask. So that's why it's very important. We go back to the point on timesheet management, the number of hours of work put by an employee. So to explain this point, I have just made one example over here, the next two slides. It's very simple. If we understand the example, we will understand the basis of managing the firm and managing the billing and resources. Let's say the engagement is about an internal audit of ABC Limited. I need to audit the procurement and the asset management process. The engagement partner is CA John Smith, and I have quoted a revenue. I have quoted a thing of 1,50,000 rupees. All right. Now, what happens is the moment timesheets are enabled, we can start. We can basically apply a notional value to our employees. So let's say if a partner does work, my 1 hour of partner's work is equal to 25,000 rupees. If my manager does a work, 1 hour of my manager is worth 6,000 rupees. If if a senior is deployed, 1 hour of my senior is 6,000 rupees. If an article student or a staff is deployed, 1 hour of his is 1,500 rupees. Now, this notional value becomes really important. One is from a billing perspective, and secondly, from an employment management perspective. So when we are deciding to promote somebody, or when we decide to, go to his appraisals, we can ask, okay, is he worth 1,500 rupees or is he worth more? So if we feel that he's worth more, this becomes a very good benchmark to have in deciding when to promote a person or when not to promote the person. So in this case, it's a 95 hour. I'm budgeting it's 95 hours. I may be, it can be higher, it can be lower, but I'm estimating it is 95 hours. So therefore, my targeted revenue per person is clocked, and it's coming to 4,50,000 rupees. I also have a notional cost per hour to the level of the employee. So let's say everybody's salaries are different, but one thing which is common is the range will remain the same. A partner salary will be at a higher level always. Maybe an articleship stipend will be at one level always, right? So we can maybe go through our own payroll information of our team and help derive, okay, a manager average cost per hour is 1,500. This can be made out of an actual costs, the average of the actual costs, and we can calculate the targeted costs. So the targeted cost per hour per person is 88,500. So I'm targeting a profit of 2,54,900, and I also have the ability of clocking it against each person. So therefore, what's going to happen is, this is the targeted profit, but I'm actually receiving 1,50,000 rupees, and my targeted costs are 88,500. Still, I'm making a profit of 61,500, which roughly translates to 41% of margin. So over here, what insight that I'm trying to explain here is, okay, let's say if I'm accepting an engagement, a global engagement, I will always ensure I have a margin of 35%. I'll always ensure I'll have a margin of 50%, 40%, so on and so forth. So if we have the notional revenue per person ready, as well as the average cost per hour per employee ready, it becomes very easy for us to derive what is going to be the engagement value. Now, what's happened is the work has been done by the people. The budgeted hours are 5, 20, 35, 35 respectively. But when I see the timesheets, I see that the partner has put 3 hours, the manager has put 10 hours more, 30 hours, the senior has put 3 hours less, 32 hours, and the article or staff has put 3 hours more, 38 hours. So which is coming, as against 95 hours, we have worked a few hours more, 8 hours more. So what's happened is my actual cost became 97,000, which has led to a difference of 8,500. So this becomes a very important point of introspection that we can start doing when we start getting into these global engagements. We can ask questions as, did I budget it properly? Is there a huge variance between my budgeted hours and the actual hours? Is this person who was deployed as a senior, is he efficient? Or is he inefficient? I think that he's worked less, and as a result, his mistakes are more. And because of that, my manager had to put 10 hours more, and my staff had to put 3 hours more. We can get such valuable insights by just analyzing such data, and it will help in two things. One is finding the correct rate we can bill to our client or the prospective client. And number two, it becomes very we will also realize how efficient the employees are, or where we can see that, okay, this person is struggling in this area, let me concentrate some more time with him so that, or her, so that he can improve himself over there. Such valuable insights can be made. And like I said, quality as part of the four values that the firm should have, it becomes in very good quality building. We can have feedback sessions with the client, with the employees, and they can also share what they felt, and we can figure out what's the situation. So there's a lot of wins which CA firm can do at a global level if we starts introducing small changes at the local level. Let's maybe timesheet monitoring, cost analysis, engagement, work paper documentation methodologies. Because if these three things are there, nobody can, and combine that with our experience, and combine our knowledge on the business process and the laws and technology, it becomes very easy for other people to approach to us and trust us, and have a relation, establish a relation, and give more work. So in this case, like I said, the differences of 8,500 rupees would need to be introspected, and appropriate feedback can be provided to the team in relation to the budgeting of the engagement, the quality of the engagement, and the efficiency of the employee. Some form of quality enablers. Now the thing is, we have been speaking a lot on what a firm should be in order to reach globally, and how we can network, and how we can brand ourselves. So the thing is, we need to remember six things. One is, if we are ready to work in a global level, I need to have good collaboration techniques. When I say collaboration, how easy it is for me to speak to a person in my office, that same level of ease should be with the person whom I'm interacting as a client. So they're called as collaboration techniques. So earlier, ISD facilities, they were all like expensive. But now, thanks to the internet and the technological disruptions and revolution that is present right now, we have access to so many software which is like really cheap. Like, for example, we are using YouTube to collaborate with people all over, with all the viewers. And in fact, I can see a lot of comments over here as well, right? So that is basically collaboration. How can we work together? I'm using YouTube as a mode of explaining my point of view. The viewers are using YouTube to put their comments and their questions over here. So this is a collaboration tool. So we need to have efficient collaboration techniques. We must have a standard process of managing our engagements. So if it's an internal audit, this is my step 1, step 2, step 3. If this is advisory for taxation, let's say some structuring, step 1, I need this data. Step 2, this is the work papers and checklists I need to fill internally. Step 3, this is my output. We need to have a structured process of engagement, meaning instead of we always say that we have that one person or one staff in our office whom we can always depend upon. I should not depend on the person, I should depend on the process to execute the engagement. Because if that is established, no matter who is there in the team, because even if the employees leave the organization, it doesn't matter, because you will still be able to survive and maintain the quality standards. Systematic documentation, review protocols, the thumb rule is simple. The more the reviews are done, the better the engagement quality output. And continuous learning. How can we achieve that? Now's a time where we can actually leverage on techniques, on the IT resources that is there. Earlier, it was very expensive for us to maintain a server. Server itself costs about 2 lakhs or so on and so forth, and its maintenance per month would cost me about 10 to 20,000 extra per month, plus IT person who's always there to look at the server, 2 IT persons for that matter. But now, thanks to cloud computing and fast internet, we don't have. There's no reason for us to have any capital expenses anymore. It's all on a subscription-based model. Everything is operating expenses. Everything is deductible as an expense, and we can save taxes, right? So the thing is, let us start leveraging on such tools. So one of the tools that I liked using is SharePoint. So SharePoint is a very efficient software for your document management system. In fact, the capability of SharePoint is I can create workflows. let's say I've got an internal audit from a client. So what I'll do is I'll upload all the documents in the internal audit workflows. And then with all the work papers I create, SharePoint will enforce a review to be done by person A and person B, depending on the configuration I have set. They can review it. If they're telling it's okay, their sign off is captured over there. If they're telling something is not okay, it goes back to the person so that he can rework on it. So document management systems like SharePoint or Alfresco is another open source tool which can be implemented. It's very easy. If these things are there, your document management is easier. Second one is HRMS. Why am I specifically signifying HRMS system is really simple. It's because I need to have a track of my how I'm using my human resources. How am I utilizing my resources? Am I overworking somebody, or am I not giving the right work to people? Is the profitability of that employee good or bad? That to keep a track of that, I need an HRMS system. So I have kind of recommended two open source HRMS system. One is called Orange HRMS, and then another thing application called as Open HRMS. All you have to do is, you can buy some server in GoDaddy or AWS or Amazon, and just have it installed. Everything is implemented in a matter of minutes and seconds. Configuring it to your office standards maybe would take another day or two, but with the right amount of planning that can be and the right policies that that you may come up with, or changes in the policies you may come up with, once that is clear, it's very easy for you to configure the HRMS system as well. Same thing with the CRM. A CRM is customer relationship management. So this is especially if you're into traveling more and you're more into advisory work rather than audit work. And when it comes to that sort of a situation, it's very important to keep a track of my opportunities, right? Leads, right? So like I said, I have CamCard and I've got about 3,000 odd cards. Okay, now I've got a lot of information. How am I making use of it? So I put the data in the CRM system, and let's say I make newsletters. Every 2 months I release a newsletter. I send it to them. I send it through the CRM. Now what happens is a few among those recipients contact back to me telling that, hey, nice dude, I really like your work. Can you help me out with the thing, because I'm in a similar situation and your article is talking about that. So I'm like, okay, let me help you out. What I will do is I will make an entry in my CRM system as a lead, that as an opportunity that this person responded back and he may be requiring this service, and this may be my targeted revenue, right? So at a small scale, maybe having a CRM may not seem like a practical thing because you're just adding more and more complication. But the whole point is, as we go global, it's very important that our firms also grow. And that means having more partners, having more people, more managers, more seniors, more staff, so on and so forth, right? So, and anybody can get a work, and anybody can get work. It could be as simple as maybe I'm doing an internal audit for a client. The client comes back telling me that, dude, I need you to do a thorough review of the purchase process. I'm setting up a new business here. Can you give me your input? So the client comes and speaks to the manager like that. So manager comes and logs it in the CRM system. The partners are aware that, okay, the manager is getting some work this way. So this becomes really a very nice tool to keep track of the forthcoming businesses. But like I said, just because I'm talking about CRM system here and networking, branding, and all, does not mean that we have to go advertise ourselves. It's a matter of publishing our point of views on certain aspects, or maybe on what work we do online. In the guidelines of the institute. Then we have the collaboration techniques. We can use Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts, SharePoint, OneDrive, and a bunch of other applications. From a collaboration perspective, what I would also suggest is maybe you can also speak to the article students, or the younger generation CAs, or the newly qualified CAs, because they will have dozens of ways or wonderful techniques in how they can collaborate the data. Right now, because of 4G, we know that it is possible to send data from point A to point B. We will figure out which is the best way, the cheapest way, the fastest way, and the most securest way. So, that competencies are there with the younger students and the younger CAs as well. So, you can take their point of views as well. The last point is client confidentiality. We need to ensure that the client's data is is protected. So the drawback of using free email services like at gmail.com or at yahoo.com is like if you read the terms and conditions, some of the email providers say that we will go through your email and we will target advertisements to you. We will enhance your ad experience to you. In fact, Google, even if you pay money to Google in using their services, right? That's going to be the thing. In fact, I still get advertisements in my Gmail account. So it's very important that we have a secure cloud and secure email services. So all these email providers, they'll tell that, okay, we have a separate corporate service called a secure corporate email, where in this case, we will not have access to your emails. All your emails when stored in the databases are encrypted. We cannot see anything, and you can use that. But you have to pay a small price for it. So and that's like hardly anything. It comes to like some 100 rupees per user per month, and you can get like 50 GB storage or 100 GB storage. And if you opt for the corporate services like Office 365 and G Suite. G Suite is the corporate arm of gmail.com. Even AWS has their own emailing system. In fact, even when you sign up with GoDaddy also will give you emails access as well, from a corporate perspective. So these things can be implemented at ease as well. Before we go there, I just thought I'll take a few more minutes and quickly show you how easy it is to have a website. So like I said, I've come to Installatron, install this application. It creates a new instance. This is like, creating a website, installing an HRMS system is like installing an app from the Google Play Store or from the Apple Store. All I have to do is put it in a domain directory. This is test website 123. I have already purchased this domain and WordPress and what is the versions as well. Let me make a copy of this so that I can show it to you. Control C. It's going to give me an administrator username and password as well. Install. You can see that it's copying the files and directories. What I'll do is I'll just create a new tab and paste it here so that you guys can see it. The next part is the HRMS system. I already have an instance of the HRMS system. In the meantime, we'll just see. This is at 99%. So what you guys can do is you can go to this Installatron thing, the app store for websites in the application browser and search for the CRM application and the HRM application. So once you've selected that, right? Look, my website is ready. Hello world has come here. Now if I click on this will load. There we go. This is the orange HRM system. And this is a free thing. I'm not paid any money for this thing. The only expense that I pay is per year, about 6,000 rupees for my web server and about 300 rupees, or means about 400 rupees for my domain. That's all. And I can manage users, organization, job structure, pay grades. This will help you determine your notional revenue per employee, qualification, nationalities. So I come to time. I can create projects. So let's say I have a client ABC, and for client ABC, I want to do an internal audit work. So all I'll do is I'll type the ABC customer name here and type a project. Oh, sorry. I'll click on add. And once I click on add, I will be able to create a project. Who's going to be my customer? What is the name of the project? And who's going to be the manager of that project? And what's going to be the work? So once I save it, a code will be generated. So when people publish their timesheets online or on a weekly basis over here, they can, you can generate reports as to what is the utilization of the employee. You can have vacancies, recruiter, candidate management, performance evaluation. You can also have a dashboard, leave management, what is the leave entitlement, so on and so forth. Now that this is ready, let me just copy this, copy link, paste. Here we go. I just created a website. It is as simple as that. No programming knowledge required, nothing whatsoever. Now, if I log into the website, I will be able to, manage the site. Since this is a WordPress site, I have to type WP admin, and it'll ask me to log into a page over here. Username or email address, which was given to me over here initially. So if I want an HRMS system, I go back to the application browser. Here we go. Sugar CRM is here. For the customer relationship management, there's another one. Sweet CRM, Orange HRM system. You want to have ticketing system, we have here. Then project management, invoicing, billing. Everything is very easy. It's a matter of spending, let's say, about 3 to 4 days introspecting what we need to do, what we need to fix, and how we can better project ourselves at a global level where people can see us and trust us with their work. So it's just a little things that matter. So that's about it with respect to the demo over here. So as we conclude on the quality enablers perspective, I'm actually reminded of a movie called Now You See Me Too. So in that movie, Morgan Freeman and Mark Ruffalo will be telling this word. Will tell this dialogue which I really like. You were right about the four horsemen, but they needed to learn to work together as a single organism. Now, the end goal is once our firm is in the right shape, once our firm has appropriate standards, that openness in the culture and feedback system, where we respect what the employees say and the employees respect what we are saying. And, basically nobody's having a problem with each other. We all will learn to work together. It's not that one person has to put all the effort. It's not that only the partner should have the vision of going global. It's very important that we inculcate the same vision across the employees as well. Let them also understand the purpose of this work. When they are able to understand this vision and appreciate this vision, they will start to think, they will start thinking in the lines of the firm and, the globe and help you reach towards that destination. So, yeah. So basically that's about it. Before I go ahead, anyways, I'll be hosting this slide on my SlideShare account, and the Mangalore CAs also will be getting a copy from the Mangalore CA staff. What I've done is I've prepared a an illustrative checklist over here. So what is the idea of this checklist is it's basically 14 questions. Now we know we have got a lot of things, maturity assessments and all that given by our institute, given by so many other firms and all that. But this is the simple things that what I feel should be done at at the initial level to see to enable our firm to serve at a larger scale. So basically what I said, and most of these checklists, the questions in the checklist are easy. Like one is firm policy. Have we implemented revised HR policies on how we are going to staff our engagements? How are we going? What's going to be the pay? KPIs for their appraisals. What are their notional revenue? What is the average cost? So on and so forth. And then maybe another firm policy to see whether okay, let me have a framework implemented here so that whenever a new engagement comes or a new work type of work comes, this is going to be my approach, this is going to be my revenue mechanism, and this is going to be my document benchmarks. From a branding perspective, have I created a website highlighting the area of services, who are my main team members, partners, and managers, so on and so forth, and what are my capabilities? And to do this, this is going to cost a little bit because, like I said, you need to have some sort of like the domain costs and other things, right? Hosting costs. So I've written a remark as minor costs. On a regular basis, are we doing thought leadership in the form of articles, webinars? Have we published it in our websites, so on and so forth? This doesn't cost us anything. Everything is free. Are we using a custom email service so that we protect the confidentiality we have with the clients? And in fact, these email services are protected more than the regular ones as well. So they're even more protected and they're less prone to hacking. Are we active on social media with the and do we continuously update it with our opinions and our point of views on really on the in relation to the recent changes of the economy or law issues? It should not be a fact that I'm putting an article on what is expected to be done. I think we will add more value to our clients and more value to other prospective potential clients if we share our point of view. I'm like, okay, if this happens, this is going to be the new problem. If this happens, this is going to be the good benefit which everybody can enjoy. The moment we add such values, point of views in the articles, people see that and people appreciate that. From a networking perspective, have we implemented a CRM solution as well? Are we using Camcard or are we using some sort of other document scanners like Cam Scanner or Microsoft Lens or something like that? Have we, from a quality perspective, I think we can spend time together with our teams and help develop a checklist, work paper templates. So let's say I am doing physical stock verification. So therefore, I'll have a checklist and I'll have a template. I need to fill in so and so information. It could be batch code, it could be quantity, it could be the manufacture date and all. It will be summarized very nicely in that thing. Let's say I am doing PO approval review, right? So in the PO approval review, I will have one step, obtain a list of all the POs, ensure that that list is complete. If there are 100 POs in the system, I should have an output of 100. It should not be 98 or 97 like that, because usually the problem is there in that difference, the 2 or 3. So how do we have a procedure to ensure that the report is complete? How are we documenting it to showcase the peer reviewer that, okay, when I took the PO list, I've ensured it's complete. This is the way I did my sampling. These are the attributes I checked. This PO value is greater than 5 lakhs. So 3 levels of approvals are there. Is it there or not? If it's all documented in a systematic manner, it's going to help. So such templates and checklists need to be developed by the firm themselves in tandem with the standards. You can have a firm policy on audit materiality, what's your sampling strategy, and what is your substantive procedures. Have we implemented a workflow system that is mandatorily to be used for storing the original evidences provided by client, what work papers we create, is the review mechanism credible, and is the sign-off authentic? This will have some sort of a minor cost because you may be requiring the help of a developer, or maybe if the article student guys are like kind of technically smart, even they can develop it for you. Right now, I'm seeing chartered accountants in our teams who know Python programming and who know PHP programming and all that. I'm like, okay, we didn't learn this in CA, but it's a sign that the new CAs are technically sound, and we may not have to break our heads in or spending a lot of money. All we have to do is frame the requirements, have a clarity of the destination or of the firm requirement, and discuss it with them. Have we implemented a cloud system of storage and file archival? have we implemented a collaboration tool to stay connected with team members? And in the event of a lockdown like this, can I still, conduct my business? Are we conducting periodic training sessions in the areas of communication, leadership, presentation? See, the whole point of having GMCS is so that CAs can benchmark their communication skills, right? So therefore, and I think that should not be forgotten at that point in time. It should be continued, because we need to learn. We need to know how to talk with the C-level executives, the board of directors, the department heads. Everybody's got their own perspective. We may be technical with the guy at the operation level, but maybe as we go up the ladder, you will have to be very careful in how you choose in what you speak to them, right? So, it's important that training be given in communication, leadership, presentation skills, and other technical subjects. Have you implemented a feedback system where both employees and employer can share feedback? It is very important that the employer also learn and hear the problems faced by the employees. And have you implemented a profit and cost tracking mechanism for engagements, for analysis, to see what can be made better? So with this, basically, I'll be ending my presentation. I hope there was some value added, and maybe if you feel like changing your own the way how the practices are being done, I would really appreciate it. And if you guys want to talk to me about this, I am reachable all the time. And in case if you don't have my contact information, just search for Bharath Rao, you will find it. But I think we can have some questions and I'll be able to answer it. Okay, so I think the questions are supposed to be posted in the live chat there. The first one is...
It's on the screen, Bharat.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for your kind words, Praveen Shetty, sir. Murali Mohan sir is asking, Bharat, for our office, is it better to go to NAS or take up cloud space to store our client data? Cost versus benefits, please, and ease of access for staff from work from home. Murali Mohan sir, if you have a NAS is nothing but network access storage. That means you need to have your own hardware and equipment. And frankly, managing that equipment is going to be a challenge, because if something happens to the equipment, the redundancy would be an issue. So it's expensive. There are redundancy issues, and the need for maintenance is higher. So I would recommend, for a mid-sized firm to use the cloud services. I would recommend you could try AWS S4 service, which is the service for storing large amounts of data at a very less price. And from a cloud perspective, even if the data is gone, even if something happens to the service, their redundancy mechanisms are brilliant, and you will not even realize that their servers have gone spoiled and they've recovered your data. So it's pretty good, and it's pretty secure, and it's easily accessible from work from home as well. Number two, how dangerous is it to attend Zoom? From a Zoom perspective, yes, there has been a speculation, and there's been advisories released by the the IT wings of the government, telling that Zoom is not secure because their data in transmission is not secure, meaning it's going to multiple places which have vulnerabilities and people can eavesdrop. But frankly, if you ask my opinion, if you're using Zoom for business meetings and confidential discussion, I would prefer you go with some sort of a paid solution like Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts, or the paid version of Citrix, AnyDesk meetings, so on and so forth. Because the thing is, when you're using a paid version of the application, the terms of agreements are different, and the service levels given by these IT companies are also different. They're usually more secure. So as of now, from a Zoom perspective, it's a mixed reaction. I think you need to evaluate all the other applications prior to taking a call. But honestly, from security perspective, you can definitely use Google Hangouts, or you can definitely use Microsoft Teams as well, or Skype as well, because they're all proven to be safe. The next question is, adding to Murali sir's, okay, this is by Sriram Rao sir. Adding to Murali sir's query, which server model will be more secure, taking into consideration the best security measures such as firewall, antivirus, etc. I need to get some more insight on what do you mean by server model here. But nevertheless, what I can definitely comment on is it's better to use genuine products, have a paid antivirus application, and the application has to be not only installed in your computers but in your mobile phones as well. Maybe not you have a strict ban on using pen drives in the office, and now nobody can say that the internet issue is there and all that because everybody's got 4G. I think we should now start pushing our clients to share the data using OneDrive or something of that sort. The next question is, what will be the issues that, by Shriram sir, what will be the issues or things that should be kept in mind in respect of restoring the backup from the cloud server when disaster recovery after an attack? Number one, it's not just about taking backups all the time. It's also about testing the backup. Can I rely on the backup? So maybe on one particular Sunday, there should be a simulation done where you restore the data from the file, from the backup files. But other than that, please try to use a good backup software. It's okay if it's a paid one, or you can use cloud facilities as well, because OneDrive has an inherent backup facility. So any Word file or Excel file or any file that I have created, a version of the file is always available. In fact, I have a version of a Microsoft Excel file which has about 1,800 edits so far, and I can retrieve any version of the file which has been created over the past 3 months. But when you're restoring a backup, always ensure that you have the you test the backup and you see whether the data is running fine. That's the basic checks. There's nothing specific that you need to do from a medium-sized firm perspective. Jain sir, thank you so much for your kind words. Murlimon sir, thank you so much. On-site or cloud server model? I think it's better to go for a cloud server model, Shriram, in relation to the previous question. It's easier, it's cheaper, there is no capex, and there are strong service level agreements and commitments given by these companies. But it's very important you decide, you also focus on how you're going to protect the cloud, because security of the cloud is the responsibility of the cloud service provider, but security within the cloud is the responsibility of the owner of the server. All right. So sometimes due to a lack of configuration, your server may be exposed in the outside world. So you need to take steps of that. I hope that helps. From Ananta Padmanabha sir. Sir, thank you so much for your kind words, sir. I think that's about it. It's a lot of questions, a lot of inputs as well, a lot of comments. Guys, thank you so much. I don't know if you are CAs or not, but nevertheless, I hope this has been of value to you. And like I said, let's all help our clients earn more money so that we also can earn more money. And more importantly, we are chartered accountants and we have worked very hard for it, and we have studied really expert level knowledge worth of materials. So let us put good use to it, be proud of the work, and deliver it like a peacock to the client, so that they appreciate the value that we are giving it to them. So with this,
Bharat, there's one more question.
Oh, there's one more question?
Yes.
4G and broadband are just mediums of way how internet is given, Murli Mohan sir. 4G is a technology in itself. Broadband is another technology in itself. So broadband, you can deliver it via optic fiber net or telephone cables or TV cables. Frankly, it really doesn't matter, because both the technologies have proven, they have their strengths and weaknesses. But on a consistent level, where a lot of active, where you're using a lot of internet in that scenario, then I suggest you go with a hardline connection in the form of a broadband or an optic fiber cable, because the bandwidth is higher, it is faster. Sorry, and the quality of service will be there. 4G can be used especially when you're traveling. 4G is also not bad. You get about 25 Mbps to 30 Mbps of speed, which is decent enough to download and upload and do your work seamlessly. But I would rather recommend, if you're using 4G, ensure that you have good signal tower coverage, and the other practical things, keeping that in mind. Taresh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Paul Verghese, for your words again. Thank you so much, Balakrishna Shanbog sir, as well. Over to you, Hasta.
Thank you, Bharat. I think showing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful forms of respect that we can show. And I'm sure the other members would agree with me that you did an excellent job and it was a very insightful presentation. So, once again, a big thank you. And thank you to the viewers for being so sportive and active throughout these webinars. So, you will be definitely updated by the managing committee for more webinars. Until then, take care. See you soon. Once again, a big thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Like, subscribe, and share.